The markets aren't just calm right now, they're playing tricks on us. Listen, while most everyday investors are getting caught up in meme coin madness or running scared from short-term price swings, the real infrastructure, powerhouses XRP, Stellar, HBAR, and XDC are silently securing their positions. These aren't your typical hype-driven plays, folks. We're talking about the digital foundations being woven into the next generation of our global financial infrastructure. And if you're currently holding any of these assets, you absolutely need to grasp what's heading our way, because getting prepared isn't something you can put off anymore. The genuine transformation is unfolding behind closed doors, and once it breaks through to the mainstream, your chance to get positioned before the massive breakout will have already vanished. This goes beyond just safeguarding your investment portfolio now. It's about securing your family's future, your financial destiny, the wealth you'll pass down. The warning signs aren't on their way, they're already here. Let's dive in with the most dangerous myth in cryptocurrency, that you'll actually see the big moves coming. Here's reality. Once everyone can see it clearly, you've already missed the boat. That's exactly how institutional systems operate by design. They don't make their moves in the spotlight, they operate in complete silence. If you're holding XRP, Stellar, HBAR, or XDC, you've likely witnessed this cycle play out countless times. Massive announcements get released, infrastructure partnerships get locked in, on-chain activity explodes, institutional money starts flowing, yet somehow, token prices stay completely flat. Until one day, they absolutely don't. Here's the exact sequence you need to memorize. Regulatory frameworks get established first. Behind the scenes, no media fanfare, just official guidance released. Regulatory structures put in place, and the floodgates crack open slightly. Pilot programs launch. Silently, financial institutions begin running cross-border payment tests. Digital currencies get rolled out in government systems. Transaction volumes start building momentum under the radar. Institutional buying begins accelerating. Without fanfare, derivative products get structured. Over-the-counter trading desks stock up. Major players accumulate without moving spot prices. Then eventually, the mainstream narrative catches on. And at that point, it's not a setup phase anymore. It's a launch sequence. That's precisely what's happening right now. Ripple is putting the finishing touches on banking APIs and liquidity centers while running CBDC tests across numerous countries. Stellar has gone live with MoneyGram, launched Palau's national digital currency, and is deploying Soroban for enterprise-level smart contract capabilities. Hedera is bringing on board governments and Fortune 500 companies for everything from environmental data verification to digital identity solutions, all powered by its council-governed infrastructure. XDC has transitioned from concept to reality with functioning trade documentation systems across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. This isn't theoretical anymore, folks. It's pure execution. These projects aren't sitting around waiting for social media buzz. They're constructing the foundation for an entirely new financial operating system. What used to be nice-to-have features are rapidly becoming essential infrastructure for a digitized, tokenized global economy. If you're waiting for some dramatic green candle to signal when to jump in, you've completely missed the bigger picture. The real indicator isn't price action. It's the underlying architecture. And every single one of these tokens XRP, Stellar, HBAR, and XDCs embedded within the most significant financial overhaul since SWIFT was created. We're witnessing the complete rewiring of global finance. And if you're truly paying attention, the signals aren't even subtle at this point. They're practically shouting, but only to those who understand where to focus their attention. Because when all the surface level chaos settles, what remains is what's genuinely substantial: authentic adoption, real transaction volume, genuine integrations, solid infrastructure. And that's the type of foundation that doesn't just create temporary pumps, it fundamentally transforms entire markets. From courtroom battles to becoming a liquidity powerhouse, XRP isn't merely a survivor, it's now a fundamental pillar of the new liquidity infrastructure being constructed beneath our global financial system. When the SEC legal battle started, most people thought it would destroy Ripple completely. Instead, it created a competitive advantage. An advantage that now translates to legal certainty, real-world business partnerships, and global liquidity networks. While news outlets fixated on court documents, Ripple kept building. They expanded on-demand liquidity corridors throughout Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. They launched enterprise-grade CBDC pilot programs with more than 5 governments and central banks. They secured partnerships with major players like Santander, SBI, Tranglo, the Digital Pound Foundation, and even collaborated on Palau's stablecoin initiative. Ripple wasn't creating marketing buzz, they were laying down financial infrastructure. And here's what that accomplishes: cross-border foreign exchange settlement in seconds rather than days. Programmable liquidity access through XRP for banks, fintech companies, and large enterprises. CBDC compatibility using XRP as the connecting bridge between different countries' digital currencies. The Ripple Liquidity Hub serves as the foundation, combining real-world asset tokenization, payment infrastructure, and instant liquidity access. Whether you're a bank, a cryptocurrency exchange, or an entire nation, Ripple's technology stack can move your value faster and cheaper than any Swift-based alternative. XRP has moved beyond retail speculation. It's about replacing outdated financial plumbing with programmable liquidity solutions. And when utility-driven demand takes off, the price adjustment won't be gradual. It will be sudden, aggressive, unavoidable, because the exact factor that held XRP's price down the Las Suitas now become its greatest strength. It has legal precedent established. It has regulatory clarity achieved, and it has enterprise-level integration with real-world applications. So when the global financial system finally opens the liquidity floodgates toward cryptocurrency, XRP isn't just prepared, it's positioned right at the control valve. This isn't the conclusion of XRP's journey, it's the start of its market dominance. Stellar's exit strategy? Quietly displacing the established system. If Ripple is launching a direct assault on traditional finance, Stellar is sneaking in through the back entrance and installing completely new infrastructure while the old system remains unaware. Stellar's genius isn't only in its transaction speed or minimal costs, it's in how it's integrating itself into actual financial pipelines without triggering any alarms. Zero hype. No dramatic announcements, just measurable results. MoneyGram's cash-to-crypto conversion services are now operational across more than 180 countries, utilizing Stellar's infrastructure to transfer value between traditional money and digital assets. Palau's national stablecoin, PSC, operates directly on Stellar's network, demonstrating that even sovereign governments trust its infrastructure for CBDC-style functionality. Nonprofit organizations and humanitarian groups are distributing emergency funds and aid through Stellar, eliminating weeks of bureaucratic delays and administrative costs from international transfers. Soroban, Stellar's smart contract platform, is now fully active, bringing decentralized finance capabilities with a compliance-focused approach designed specifically for institutional users. USDC on Stellar has become one of the fastest and most cost-effective methods to move digital dollars globally, and is being embraced by fintech companies who want to avoid Ethereum's network congestion or Solana's reliability issues. What we're observing isn't just a blockchain project gaining momentum. It's a financial protocol being integrated into the core structure of cross-border value transfer. Stellar is replacing Swift not through aggressive marketing, but through superior functionality. It doesn't attempt to outcompete Ethereum's marketing or out-meme Dogecoin's social presence. It simply performs consistently, efficiently, and most importantly, quietly. Now, as Soroban smart contracts become fully operational and developers begin creating interconnected, enterprise-ready, decentralized applications, Stellar is transitioning from basic payment processing to comprehensive programmable finance infrastructure. The brilliance of Stellar lies in its perfect balance: light enough for microtransactions and money transfers, strong enough to support central bank-issued stablecoins, fast enough to handle real-time requirements, compliant enough to attract institutional investment. In essence, it's everything a modern financial network requires, and it's fully operational. And as investment capital starts shifting away from speculative tokens toward actual utility-based blockchains, Stellar becomes increasingly difficult to overlook. Not because it makes noise, but because it produces results. The sophisticated investors are already monitoring closely. They're tracking wallet activity, developer growth patterns, transaction processing volumes, So, when the world finally recognizes the infrastructure that's been quietly operating in the background, Stellar won't just gain attention. It will be acknowledged for what it already represents. The quiet mastermind behind the new economy. This isn't a speculative moonshot, it's a strategic takeover. And Stellar is already embedded within the system. HBAR from hashgraph innovation to the next enterprise benchmark. In a market flooded with hype and overblown promises, HBAR stands uniquely positioned as the blockchain most likely to become standard enterprise infrastructure. Not because it's the loudest, but because it's governed by industry titans. Hedera Hashgraph isn't just another blockchain layer. It's a fully permissioned, council-governed distributed ledger with unparalleled efficiency, and is trusted by the caliber of companies that make regulators take notice. Council members include Google, running a network node and providing technical guidance, IBM, incorporating Hedera into enterprise cloud solutions, Dell Technologies, expanding IoT and data trust layers through Hedera, Boeing, exploring digital credentials and supply chain integrations, Standard Bank, utilizing the network for tokenized finance in developing markets. And that's not even the complete roster. With over 30 governing council members, each representing major industry leaders across technology, banking, energy, telecommunications, and logistics, HBAR isn't building speculation. It's constructing infrastructure endorsed by established institutions. What is Hedera actually accomplishing? Large-scale tokenized asset creation through the HTS, Hedera Token Service. Environmental impact tracking with complete audit trails for emissions, carbon credits, and supply chain sourcing. Digital identity solutions through partnerships with the UAE government and other entities. CBDC testing environments and stablecoin pilots with full regulatory compliance. DeFi protocols like SaucerSwap operating with finality and fairness built into Hashgraph consensus. Hedera is the only blockchain where high performance and proper governance coexist. Its consensus mechanism isn't just rapid, it's ABFT, asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerant, meaning it's mathematically secure for mission-critical data. And now, as regulatory compliance becomes the gateway to genuine adoption, Hedera's architecture is achieving something no hype-driven coin can match. It's becoming the industry standard. The market is transforming. Venture capital firms, governments, and institutional funds are shifting away from pure speculation toward purpose-built ledgers that address real enterprise challenges. That's where HBAR excels. This is the blockchain for governments launching regulated digital assets, enterprises tokenizing real-world assets, RWAs, and ESG-focused companies automating verifiable data processes. And when the next financial revolution demands compliant, scalable, and battle-tested infrastructure, HBAR is already engineered for it. It's not making headlines, but it's unstoppable. Because the moment ESG regulations, CBDC deployments, and tokenized capital markets reach full scale, HBAR won't just be part of the ecosystem, it'll be the entire system. This isn't a layer one searching for its purpose. This is the future foundation of trust in a tokenized world. XDC, the trade finance dark horse. While retail investors chase meme tokens and short-term excitement, the smartest money in the room is focused on something completely different: trade finance. And that's exactly where XDC is quietly establishing dominance. Trade finance represents one of the most antiquated, paper-dependent, and inefficient sectors in global finance. We're discussing 19 trillion in global trade flows. Much of it still relies on manual documentation, disconnected systems, and sluggish settlement processes. Enter XDC. XDC isn't just another blockchain. It's a hybrid, enterprise-ready distributed ledger technology engineered specifically to solve the profound inefficiencies in trade documentation, asset tokenization, and institutional settlement. Where is it already operating? Trade Finex, digitizing invoices, bills of lading, and letters of credit. TFD initiative, linking DeFi liquidity to real-world trade assets. European banks and commodity trading platforms integrating XDC for near-instantaneous, low-cost cross-border settlement. This isn't experimental testing. These are actual financial flows being processed through XDC's network. ISO 20022 compliant. Ultra-low transaction fees, fractions of a penny. energy efficient less than 0.00001 kilowatt hours per transaction. Built for regulatory compliance with hybrid public-private ledger capabilities. In an environment where regulatory clarity and enterprise integration are paramount, XDC is already miles ahead of most so-called enterprise blockchains. And yet, it remains significantly under the radar. Smart investors are already monitoring closely. Token velocity showing increased utilization across tokenized invoices and digital trade documents. Wallet distribution indicating growing institutional participation. On-chain volume and validator metrics steadily climbing week after week. Because here's the reality. When traditional finance finally realizes that the $2 trillion gap in trade financing can be solved with instant digital settlement, there will only be one network prepared XDC. As the world tokenizes everything from real estate to invoices to commodities, XDC's hybrid model enables institutions to maintain compliance, privacy, and connectivity while still benefiting from blockchain speed and cost efficiency. This is the infrastructure opportunity that most people won't see coming. But the intelligent ones are already getting positioned. If you hold these 4 assets, prepare yourself. This isn't financial advice, it's structural awareness. XRP, Stellar, HBAR, XDC. These aren't just cryptocurrency tokens. They're financial infrastructure protocols. Purpose-built to replace the legacy systems of banking, cross-border settlement, identity verification, and trade finance. If you're holding them, you're not gambling, you're positioning yourself for the complete reset. And if your family doesn't understand it yet, share this analysis with them. Because the real transformation won't be broadcast on mainstream media. It'll be embedded into APIs, financial infrastructure, and government-backed pilot programs. By the time the headlines catch up, retail investors will be priced out completely. The signals are already flashing bright. The capital is already rotating. The system is already shifting. Now the only question remaining is, will you and your loved ones be ready when the floodgates finally open? Smash that like button if this infrastructure revolution breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the scenes. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because when these 4 giants make their next moves, you'll want to be the first to know. The silent revolution is happening, now don't get left behind.